One of the structural characteristics of the Brazilian economy is the absolute predominance of small and medium-sized business. Now, they predominate everywhere in the world, but in Brazil, they especially predominate. But our industrial policy has been traditionally focused on a small number of large businesses well connected to the state. And they then can go to the National Development Bank and receive highly subsidized credit. The highly subsidized credit is in turn largely funded by charges on the payroll of the workers. So it is, in a sense, the Brazilian workers who are paying for these sweetheart deals. Meanwhile, the most important sector of the economy, this multitude of emergent businesses, are the vehicles of this new mestizo middle class coming from below, are entirely unequipped, without access to credit, to technology, to knowledge, to markets. So what is needed? What is needed is to turn the attention of the state to them, not with the objective of determining what the sectors of the future should be. The future will determine what the sectors of the future are. With the objective of giving them access to these resources of production and of knowledge. With the objective of promoting among them practices of cooperative competition so that they can cooperate and compete against one another at the same time and thus achieve economies of scale. And the condition for this advance is gradually to establish a form of alliance, of partnership between the government and these small and medium-sized firms that is neither the American practice of arm's length regulation nor the Northeast Asian practice of formulating a unitary trade and industrial policy and then imposing it top-down. And this would be a revolution in Brazil because we would provide instruments to this vast, disorganized and unequipped entrepreneurial energy that exists in the country. Now, a third example of the condition of labor and the relation of labor to capital. The last great innovation in the laws and institutions governing the condition of labor that took place in Brazil happened at the time of Vargas in the mid-20th century. And it paralleled similar transformations that took place in many other Latin American countries and indeed around the world. The economic basis was what we call mass production industry, the concentration of large numbers of workers in big productive units under the aegis of large corporations, and a system of labor laws designed both to protect them and to subordinate them to governmental tutelage. Now, we have a situation in which close to half of the economically active population, the adult labor force, is in the so-called informal economy, in the shadows. This is a calamity for the country. It's not just an economic calamity, it's a political and moral calamity. And then in the formal economy, under the law, an increasing percentage of the labor force finds itself in precarious situations of temporary contracts, subcontracting, or self-employment. If you add this growing percentage of workers in the formal economy who have been made precarious to the half of the adult labor force that is in the informal economy, it's the majority. It's the majority of the Brazilian people. The basic defect of the regime is very simple. The basic defect is that the majority isn't in it. And I therefore proposed, after many, many months of negotiation with the president's encouragement, with the unions, with the union leadership, the establishment of a set of laws that would complement the existing legal regime. A set of laws intended to organize, to represent, and to protect the unstable, precarious workers in the formal economy. And I proposed to change the tax regime and the direction of industrial and agricultural policy to rescue from the informal economy the half of the population that remains condemned to work in the shadows of illegality.